What is up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Time Darius Aiden. I am Darius Adams, and that is Aiden Musson. Welcome to a brand new episode of Sports Time Darius Aiden. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to hit that bell for post notifications for every video. Aiden, we have a lot to get into today, but make sure for our fans out there, make sure to catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and every other major podcast network. Aiden, let's jump right into it. Today's topic is our Week 6 NFL reaction. We had a lot of good games, but some were ain't nobody care games, Aiden. But first, you have to start with the quarterback duel of the season. Aaron Rodgers going into this game, he was an MVP candidate.
Oh Lord Jesus!
Facing Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and that terrific team down there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Packers went down. They got demolished with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning 38-10. Aiden, your thoughts? Do the Packers really have a chance? And are they really a contender in the NFC?
They're a contender, but okay. I'm gonna put it this way: we all know that we didn't have them. We didn't peg them as our Super Bowl contender. We had the Seahawks, right? I knew they were gonna make the playoffs. I knew they were gonna win the division because the Vikings have looked abysmal, and the Bears can't agree on a starting quarterback. So I knew they were gonna win the division, right? I think this is the type of situation. I think this is the type of situation that we're going to see Aaron Rodgers in a little bit as he gets to be an older quarterback. When you got super athletic defenses that you're going against that don't exactly have all those named guys but are deep in some positions, then we might see some problems. Now, I believe that Aaron Rodgers is still a bad man, and I believe he's still a contender, although he's not the front runner. I don't even know who's second place anymore. We still obviously have Russell Wilson in first place, but our second place, Josh Allen, and our third place, Aaron Rodgers, had abysmal showings. So what I'm concerned about here, is that this is a sign. It's a sign that the Packers, when they're going to get into those big moments during the playoffs, that they're not going to show up. Now, I knew Tampa Bay wasn't the best of teams on defense. I'm not going to say that they were bad. I'm not going to say that they were worse than some other team, but I'm going to say that they weren't the best of teams. And they obviously have Tom Brady and that amazing offense, and I expected them to get on track at some point during the season. And that point just so happened to be against the Packers.
Aiden, I've never been the type of person to doubt the talent of Mr. Aaron Rodgers. But this game was absolutely horrible on Aaron Rodgers' part.
Age is undefeated.
Right. And Aaron Rodgers, he faced the second-ranked defense in the NFL in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And look, we all know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We had some questions about them going into this season, but guess what? They have been one of the most overlooked defenses in the NFL. I believe they're only ranked behind either the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Baltimore Ravens. And this defense just shows up.
Yeah.
Right, Aiden. This game actually reminds me. Remember that regular season game last season when Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers faced the San Francisco 49ers in a regular season game? And Aaron Rodgers.
Playoff matchup?
Right. No, not the NFC Championship game. It's a regular season game. Aaron Rodgers got absolutely demolished. In that game, he was sacked by Nick Bosa and that phenomenal front seven by the 49ers that season a bunch of times. And when you look at this Buccaneers team,
Aaron Rodgers doesn't. I'm gonna have to interrupt you for a second, real quick. Aaron Rodgers doesn't succeed against athletic pass rushers, right? Like you said, Nick Bosa. Then there was Shaquille Barrett on Tampa Bay. He doesn't succeed against athletic pass rushers.
but that Shaquille Barrett is not really the only good person on that defense. You still have Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh, who's a multiple-time Pro Bowler, phenomenal defensive lineman. But this was a great performance by the Buccaneers. Look, the Packers are now the second team in their division behind the Chicago Bears, who have been on a roll ever since Nick Foles became the starter for that team. Well, if the Green Bay Packers want to make a deep playoff run, they have to get it together on both sides of the ball. On that defense, you have to figure out how can I stop a guy like a Tom Brady or a Russell Wilson, or even a Drew Brees when it comes down to playoff time, right? And then on that offense, we all know with the Packers not drafting a first round wide receiver ever since the year 2005. But they still have Devontae Adams in the backfield. They still have Aaron Jones, right? Now, I believe Nadiz Valdez Scantling, right?
Mm-hmm. Al
And
Lazard.
Alan Lazard, right? You have good, reliable options on that team. But guess what? In this game, you did not get it done. 10 points. Really?
And a top 5 O line in the league. I have to add that too.
The the I believe the Buccaneers scored 38 consecutive points. 38 consecutive points. The Packers have to get it together, but still great win. Great team win by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aiden, you have to move on to another big game, right? Another big game. The Kansas City Chiefs take down the Buffalo Bills 26-17.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden, you have that virtual background behind you. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, the
And
duel.
it's very clear who won the arm wrestle that night.
The arm wrestle that night, of course, the Bills record their second straight loss, and the Chiefs bounced back after their loss against the Las Vegas Raiders the previous week. Aiden, your thoughts on this game? Was this just a Bills loss or Chiefs win?
It was okay. Most people are going to say this is a Chiefs win because they were coming out back from that heartbreaking loss against the Raiders, right? Up in that amazing stadium, NRG Stadium. I love that stadium. Looks amazing, by the way. Most people say this is a bounce back game for the Chiefs because obviously they lost against a team that they shouldn't have lost to. They lost to an inferior team. But you know what? I'm going to say this is a Buffalo Bills loss because you have an MVP candidate, right? You have one of the best D lines, right? I'll agree to some things, right? The week before you were missing your starting linebacker. The week before you were also missing Tre'Davious White, right? You got that big money contract. There was an excuse for you possibly losing against the Titans, who had an amazing running attack and who you were missing your starting linebacker, who was a major piece of your run defense. There was no excuse for that showing against the Chiefs. No excuse. No excuse whatsoever. Now, I know. The Chiefs have this immaculate, amazing defense, and they got an offense that'll just light you up. But the Bills, I didn't expect them to lose in that way. I expected them to lose because the Chiefs are my AFC favorite. I don't think that anybody can stop them unless you see what Oakland did to them. I didn't think they were going to lose that early in the season, but things happened. This is 2020. I expected them to lose. I didn't expect them to lose like that, though. I'm going to say this is a Bills loss because you have an MVP candidate and a stout defense, and you couldn't. What's the word I'm looking for? You couldn't produce even in a moment like that.
Aiden, the Buffalo Bills are looking like the Buffalo Bills of old, and not the Buffalo Bills we have expected them to be this season. Of course, Josh Allen was considered a dark horse candidate. He was up in my top 5 MVP rankings right behind Russell Wilson. But in these past 2 games with Josh Allen, hey, he's definitely dropped my rankings. I don't even believe he should even be considered for the most valuable player award. You saw that abysmal performance against the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry and them boys and Ryan Tannehill down there in that loss against the Tennessee Titans in this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you're playing the Chiefs, but still, as you mentioned, to lose in that fashion, it wasn't expected. Even though you lost by, I believe it was only 9 points, still, you could have made it a game. You had multiple opportunities to score, but guess what? Turnovers hurt them a lot in that game.
Yeah.
Aiden, this Buffalo Bills team is not looking like a contender to me. It is not looking like a contender. I predicted that the Buffalo Bills were going to win the AFC East, right?
Yeah.
I believe,
Patriots, new
right,
quarterback, new system. Yeah, we didn't expect them to go
all
all
right.
that.
I thought they were going to beat out the Patriots and the Dolphins and even the Jets, right? We all know they're going to beat the Jets, but this Bills team it's looking like a first round exit based on their play. I know you played the Tennessee Titans, who are undefeated. and you play the reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. But hey, if you can't compete with them, those are two of the best teams
Well,
in the AFC.
well, to your playoff point, it depends on who they get. If they get a, because we all know because we all know that we all know that thanks to this new playoff format, only one team will get the bye. So if they're the second team and get the worst team, then I think they're not going to exit in the first round.
I
However,
do,
if they get
I do,
really,
Aiden.
because that second team would be, let's see who's we got. So they're facing they might be facing the Patriots if it comes down to it.
And Aiden, look, we all know last year the Deshaun Watson miracle and the wild card game, the Buffalo Bills were up, and the majority of that game they were sent home by the Texans. But I am still predicting the same scenario. Look, I know the Bills play two of the best teams in football, and I know you face Derrick Henry and Patrick Mahomes, right? Ryan Tannehill, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. But still, you have to find a way to contend with these teams. You are not looking like a contender. I do not consider you a contender if you cannot play great quality football, mistake-free football against some of the best teams in football. We all know in the AFC you have phenomenal teams like the Ravens and the Chiefs and the Steelers. But guess what? If you cannot even have a chance, not even have a chance against those teams, what makes you think I'm gonna call you a contender? The Buffalo Bills, I am calling you out. You have to find a way to play high quality, mistake free football. Get Josh Allen to work. We all know what Stephon Diggs can do, right? You have great options, Stephon Diggs, John Brown, I believe, Cole Beasley. Phenomenal options. You have great reliable options, but guess what? You still did not get the job done. And if you want to be considered a contender in my eyes, you have to compete with those teams in the AFC. Aiden, we had a Sunday night football game, Aiden. Your Rams, your Los Angeles Rams, went down to the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo. Aiden, the Rams were up majority of that game, and then the 49ers had a phenomenal comeback led by their quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. So, Aiden, your thoughts? Are the Rams just a pretender, or do they really have a chance?
I'll be real with you, diehard Rams fan. I had us making the playoffs. I didn't have us making it extremely far. I still think we're missing some. I still think we have some extremely large holes at the safety position. Obviously, we don't have any consistency at the linebacker position, other than I believe his name is. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but obviously we have some big holes at some very major positions on that defense. Now, what I've come to see as a Rams fan is that when our defense, if Aaron Donald's not on, our defense isn't on, right? If Jalen Ramsey, he's an amazing corner, has amazing production. I believe he is one of the most talented corners in the league, if not the most talented corner in the league. Most of his production has come off of Aaron Donald's pressure. If Aaron Donald is not doing his job to the utmost perfection on our defense, we're not going to succeed. And when we face an elite offensive line like the 49ers, who obviously has Trent Williams, and they're able to neutralize a man like Aaron Donald, our defense can't stop him. Our defense can't get those go-ahead plays. We run a running back by committee now, right? We toss it off to our slots, our other guys like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, right? We're a big time offense, right? Because we pay our guys like we're a big time offense, but we don't use our offense like big time guys. We're check down guys, we're red zone guys, right? If our defense, specifically Aaron Donald, isn't going, then we're not going, unfortunately, and that's how our team is. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I hate facing the facts sometimes. I hate facing the facts sometimes. But unfortunately, that our wins are solely dependent on one man, and that is Aaron Donald.
Aiden, I don't need to stack up the excuses for this loss against the San Francisco 29ers. Now, the 49ers have so many injuries, they should be called the 29ers. This was an inexcusable loss. You pay Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Jared Goff, Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey to perform, to be the best players on your team. But did they show up against Jimmy Garoppolo and that injured 49ers defense on Sunday night? No. You were up the majority of that game. And even if Aaron Donald was off, I'm pretty sure in that cornerback position you do have a multiple-time All-Pro player. Aiden, I believe you consider him the one of the best, if not the best cornerback in football. And Jalen Ramsey, I'm pretty sure he could not stop Deebo Samuel when he was guarding him, did he? I'm pretty sure he did not.
Okay. There's a man by the name of George Kittle. Not sure if you heard of him. Highest paid tight end in the league. Not sure if you heard of him. He is a complete and utter nuisance to a defense. And when you don't have cover linebackers and cover safeties like we do,
is that supposed to be an excuse? Is that supposed to be an excuse for that loss? You were up in that game. You were up in that game. You were up in that game. You had multiple opportunities to close out.
When we do Cowboys versus Arizona, I don't want to hear another excuse come out of your mouth. You calling me out for this?
Yes, look, because guess what, Aiden? You have a phenomenal team. With I believe that you could actually make a deep playoff run. Guess what? If you could close out games, and guess what? Put a little effort in. Aiden. The Rams paid Cooper Kupp like the next coming of Jerry Rice.
It was a 3-year contract. It wasn't like we were paying him the damn team.
The Rams paid Robert Woods. Like, he was the best wide receiver in the game. You paid.
He's coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
You paid Jared Goff. Like the next coming of Joe Montana and Tom Brady, and they form a Voltron. Really?
We made two Pro Bowls made.
Pro Bowl.
We've been to the Super Bowl.
What happened in that Super Bowl?
We got neutralized by a man called Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, yeah, a man named Stephon Gilmore, but didn't you have... Okay, that's another subject for another time.
Yeah.
That's another subject for another time. You pay Jalen Ramsey, right? Highest paid non-QB in the history of the game, I believe. Right? What happened there? I mean, I believe he was guarding Deebo Samuel. He had a phenomenal game. Deebo Samuel had a phenomenal game. And, of course, Aaron Donald, the best defensive lineman in the game. And
you had an off day.
Your team basically turned off cap space in the Madden franchise, and that cost you, where you could not add any more good weapons on your team, any more reliable options on your team on both sides of the ball. I understand you have two solid running backs. Right, you have a phenomenal tight end in Tyler Higbee. Right, you have a solid offensive line. But guess what, Aiden? If you lose to the San Francisco 49ers, who have been hit by a plethora of injuries this season, no Nick Bosa, no Dee Ford to start the season, right? Jimmy Garoppolo was out a couple games. Same thing with Raheem Mostert and Deebo Samuel's on that game. They had to sign Mohamed Sanu to actually be their number one wide receiver, because guess what? All their wide receivers were out. Richard Sherman was out a couple games this season, right? I mean, like, what's the deal with y'all? What is the deal with y'all? I know you play in one of the, if not the toughest division in the NFL, in the NFC West, where all four teams in that division could easily be a playoff team. I know you have the Seattle Seahawks. I know you have the Arizona Cardinals. I know you have the San Francisco 49ers. But guess what? You were up in this game against the 49ers. You have multiple opportunities to close this out. And you say Aaron Donald had a bad game. But guess what? You saw Jalen Ramsey. You saw, I believe, 10 more people on that field that could actually make a play. But did y'all? No. And you lost. Aiden, inexcusable loss. And speaking of an inexcusable loss, Aiden, my Dallas Cowboys.
My favorite part of the show.
They get demolished by
What happened to Dolphins Pro Bowls?
Kyler Murray
Kyler Murray,
and
Kyler
DeAndre
Murray's
Hopkins.
opposer,
And
huh?
can I finish my promo, please? Can I finish my promos, please? And the
Maybe.
Cowboys go down 38-10. Aiden,
Mm.
we all know the situation with Zeke Elliott's
Oh
fumbling
yeah.
issues. No Dak Prescott.
Uh,
Aiden, who was
uh,
most to blame? Who was most to blame for
mm,
the Cowboys' struggles?
hmm Well, let's start with your man Zeke, Mister Sir Fumbles a Lot. You play with one of the best O lines in the league, who
Wait,
is
no,
very
stop,
much
stop,
missing a lot.
stop, stop! Don't you start that with Travis Frederick
I'm gonna
retired.
start it because
Tyron
I
Smith is out with the
can.
season. Lyle Collins was out.
I am going to start it because I can, and because I will. You have 2 injuries to 2 of your key guys. I get your point. Your center retires. I get your point. I get your little whine and ply right there. I get your point. You guys are injured. You guys are super injured, right? You guys got Zach Martin, right? Who's been okay. Who's been okay. I mean, he couldn't protect Dak, but I probably shouldn't go there today. Who's been okay? Zeke is the heart of your offense at this point because you pay Amari like he's a number one receiver, and he is a number one receiver. You got to pay Michael Gallup, right? And you got CeeDee Lamb, that extraordinary rookie, right? Dak is still leading the league in passing yards despite the injury. You guys were airing out the ball. You guys were doing everything you could. You guys were throwing in the kitchen sink. I mean, come on now. Now Zeke is your entire offense. He cannot sustain that. He cannot sustain that over a period of time. We've seen Zeke's fumble issues previous to this game, and I am not surprised to see a abysmal showing. Obviously, you have the Cardinals who are missing their best. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Who are missing their best pass rusher? Chandler Jones. But I'll put it this way. You guys are in trouble. But you guys are the best team in the worst division in football, so you're going to win the division. Probably going to get bounced in the first round. Probably going to have a horrible pick. Probably not going to be able to address your needs. That's the bottom line when it comes to the Cowboys. Now, obviously, we can go on and on about how the Cardinals have one of the best secondaries in football, which I do believe. They got Byron Murphy, they got Buda Baker, they got Pat Pete. I could go on and on about this amazing secondary they have, but I'm not. I got to go get to my man Kyler Murray first. What a game, Kyler. What a game. I mean, God, I said earlier in the season that I was pegging you for a breakout season. So far.
You said you said he was the MVP over Russell Wilson. You said he was the MVP over Russell Wilson.
Okay. That was before the season. That was before we had to play any games. I was obviously following the trend of second year starters winning the MVP. Right. I was going with the trends, but I still believe that Kyler Murray could be a competent player. Then you got DeAndre Hopkins, making 59.5 million 2 years. Oh yeah, that was an amazing deal, amazing play. Obviously paid him for a reason. Then you got Kirk Cousins and all your other amazing things. You guys let Kenyon Drake run for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on you.
You reckon like he's not a good running back?
He's not.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He cannot start for any of the 32 NFL teams.
You guys don't have any excuse not to stop their running game. Because guess what?
Wait, Kenyon Drake is not a phenomenal running back.
Your linebacker core is back now. Your linebacker core is back. You have your golden child, Leighton Vander Esch, who's supposed to be the ultimate run stopper. He was getting ran over by a scrub.
Kenyon Drake is a scrub.
Is an average player.
Kenyon Drake is a scrub. He's a scrub.
He is an average player.
He's a scrub.
He is an average player.
You must be out of your mind.
Average player. I am not out of my mind.
Yes, you are.
Your Cowboys defense was supposed to be one of the best run stopping in the league. You guys had Leighton Vander Esch. You had Jalen Smith. You paid Jalen Smith all that money. He didn't stop shit. I'm sorry. You guys let a straight scrub run you up.
Kenyon Drake's a scrub. I'm still in that part. Kenyon Drake is a scrub. Okay, are you done?
Running back.
Are you? I'm
He's
not
not
saying
an
he's an
elite
elite
running
running
back.
back. I'm saying he could start on any of the 32 NFL teams. Can he not?
With a running back by
Oh,
committee.
stop.
What you doing here? You making excuses? You making
Stop. I'm not
excuses
making
again?
excuses.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
making
no, you are.
excuses.
You are. You are.
Oh,
You are. Because you wouldn't. You
can you
weren't
be quiet
speaking.
for a second?
No,
Can I
no, because
talk?
you weren't.
Can I
You weren't
talk?
speaking.
Can I
You
talk?
weren't speaking. You
Can I
weren't
talk?
speaking
Can I
praise of
talk?
Kenyon Drake before that.
Can I
Before
talk?
that, you weren't speaking anything. Go ahead. Go
Can I
ahead.
talk?
Talk.
Can I talk?
Watch the
I'm gonna need
watch the
silence. I'm
live
gonna
video
need
now.
silence. I'm gonna need silence. Silence. Zip it. Zip. Shh. Shh. Zip it. Okay. Let me talk. Let me talk.
Okay.
Let me talk. Now, this was a horrific loss for the Dallas Cowboys, and the original question was, who is to blame for the Cowboys' struggles? Guess what? It's not Jerry Jones. It's not Mike McCarthy. Guess what? It's everybody. It's everybody in that franchise. Let me tell you why. When Jerry Jones had the ability to hire any coach, any coach, the one guy that he hired was Mike McCarthy, who supposedly took a year off to aid and watch my fingers here to supposedly uh I don't know how to put this. Guess what?
He was up in the mountains in
Right,
Wisconsin trying to study how to retake a team after Aaron Donald stole his soul. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, my bad.
right, and the blame goes on everybody here. Jerry Jones hired Mike McCarthy after he took a year off um, to like supposedly, as I mentioned, aid and understand the evolution of the game.
Yeah,
And
his calls were outdated.
he comes into this franchise, and now we're 2-4, and only I believe one game over the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe only one game, 1 or 1.5 games of the New York Football Giants. I mean, what is this? Look, Aiden, Jerry Jones gave Mike McCarthy full control of hiring his own coaching staff, and the
Y'all
one
still kept
person,
Kellen Moore, and your
right,
offensive
right,
performance
the,
was
no,
abysmal.
no, the one person that he kept was Kellen Moore. He fired everybody else. He fired Chris Richard. He fired Larry Brown, the running back coach, right? Rob Marinelli, and all of those coaches that coached last season for the Cowboys, and Mike McCarthy hired Mike Nolan as his defense coordinator. Aiden, I believe in one of our previous episodes, I mentioned the struggles of Mike Nolan as a defensive coordinator. The last time before the season,
Basically, his defense can't succeed unless it has two Hall of Famers
no, right,
via Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
no, the last time Mike Nolan was defense coordinator was 2014, and he was the defense coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. And during his time there, Mike Nolan's defensive rankings were 24th, 27th, and last. 24th, 27th, and last. And this team, Aiden, it has all the talent in the world. Look, and it has all the talent in the world. You have players with potential. I understand you have 8 new starters on that defense, right? And you bring in a guy like CeeDee Lamb, and you have 3 1,000-yard capable receivers. But the dumb and stupid mistakes. I'm not saying Mike McCarthy is a dumb person. I'm saying the mistakes he's made as head coach through only 6 games of this season. It is instantly backfired. Guess what? In this defense, it wasn't this bad last year when they had Chris Richard and Rob Marinelli, and it wasn't
Y'all
as
were a top 10 defense.
and it wasn't as bad the year before that. Guess what? Guess who
Before
we
that,
had?
you were top 5 defense.
And guess who we had? Right, Chris Richard and Rob Marinelli. And Aiden, I know I said that Andy Dalton, he could possibly create something. He could possibly create something. I said I wasn't absolutely positive. I didn't say I was absolutely positively. I didn't say I was positive that he could actually create something, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. And Zeke Elliott, look, and look, and Zeke Elliott, look right here. Aiden, here's the problem with Zeke Elliott right here. Look, we all know he has a new running back coach, and And I'm not trying to be this. I am not trying to be disrespectful, but we all know that Zeke Elliott contracted the COVID-19 early in the year.
Very true. Yeah.
Early in the year,
He's
and
probably
I
dealing
believe,
with those.
and from my standpoint, I believe that that has hurt his game. I believe that has hurt his game.
The
Zeke
thing
Elliott,
that he healed of a month ago is hurting his game.
Zeke Elliott.
The illness that he was cured of a month ago is hurting his game. I just wanted to make that clear. What you just said.
So you're saying it instantly just goes away, instantly goes away. It does not have an impact
Well,
of
COVID 19
somewhat,
has been well, COVID
of
19
somewhat.
has been linked to some future internal respiratory problems. Yes, that has been discovered by many nationally accredited universities. Yes, I get your point there.
No, but look, the reality is Zeke does not look in shape. He does not look in shape. He does not look in shape, Aiden. If he's playing like that, he wasn't playing like that a couple months ago. A couple months ago, he wasn't playing like that a couple months ago, Aiden. No, like he wasn't bumming all over the place. This game,
Man had a deadly disease.
no, you just contradicted yourself. You just proved my point. You just proved my point.
I'm just saying. Your excuse, you didn't let me finish there. Your excuse was because of this man's disease that he had contracted, which was COVID-19. His game is now suffering. I would blame it on the running back coach. I think that running back coach needs to get fired. Plain and simple.
It's not his
Running all
fault that
those
Zeke
plays.
bumming all
You've
over the
seen the
place.
plays. You've
It's not
seen
his
the
fault.
plays. You know what? I'm not going to blame it on Zeke. For once, I'm not going to blame it on Zeke. I think it's actually the coaching. Zeke has predominantly been an 1,000-yard plus rusher, right? But he's doing that with what type of plays? In between the lines plays, right? In between the lines plays, where he's running in between tackles, he's hurdling, he's making moves, he's stopping, going. He's not really rushing to the outside too much. I've seen mixing of multiple different plays, having him going outside of his comfort zone. Now, when you push a running back outside of his normal running pattern, and this is the same for a receiver as well, or a quarterback, when you push them to a place, a system that they're not comfortable with, you're gonna see some pushback, obviously, right? We saw it in year one of Matt LaFleur with Aaron Rodgers, and now we're just seeing it with Zeke. Instead, the response is he fumbles. He's not playing the plays he's used to, and he fumbles. Simple as that.
Aiden, Jerry Jones announced that Ezekiel Elliott was going to become a receiving type of running back. And based on the
Doing plays on
performance
the
this
outside.
season, based on the performance this season, that has not worked at all. That's not worked at all. I'm going to need Zeke to
Go
go
back to
back.
old Zeke.
Right, go back to old Zeke. I'm talking about last year or the year before that, and even his rookie year. But like you were doing your rookie year, find something. Find a way to play the way you play. Find a way. I really don't know. And I really feel happy for Dak Prescott now because we can all tell, we can all sense that Dak Prescott is going to get paid. That he is going to get paid. And he
Not like he
is,
was, but he's gonna get paid. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's going to get paid. The way Andy Dalton played yesterday, of course, he's going to get paid. Andy Dalton, I believe
Somebody got to pay somebody.
Andy Dalton was 34 out of 54. He completed 34 out of 54 passes with one touchdown and two interceptions. I ain't never seen Dak Prescott play like that.
That's
And
because he's used to Kellen Moore's system. He's throwing it all around the place constantly, so Dak has better accuracy than Andy Dalton, obviously.
man, just a terrible situation for the Cowboys to be in. Aiden, we have to move on. Gonna need some quick responses from you here. Quick, ain't nobody care games. Ain't nobody care games. The Jets lose to the Dolphins 0-24. The Dolphins just announced that Tua
Jesus Christ.
Tagovailoa. The Dolphins just announced that Tua Tagovailoa is the starter for the Dolphins. He's replacing Ryan Fitzpatrick. Aiden, your thoughts? Quick response here.
I think this is a great move. I think they're trying the Patrick Mahomes formula where they had him sit behind Alex Smith. He has him sit behind a very competent veteran in Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's clearly winning games before that. And I expect great things coming from the man, too. He's also, I believe that he will become a great quarterback in the future thanks to this type of development.
Aiden, absolutely agree with you there. Aiden, another game. The Broncos have a surprising victory over the New England Patriots, and the Broncos win 18-12. Aiden, your thoughts on the situation down there in New England?
Obviously, Cam hasn't been able to practice almost at all. Stephon Gilmore hasn't been able to practice at all. That team needs to bounce back from this COVID-19 situation. I was obviously going to see some pushback, well, aside from the Titans, who allegedly have been working out in high schools and stuff. But, yeah, this is what happens when the quarterback, the leader of your team, is not there to help and go forward with your team. You get losses. Obviously, the Broncos have great teams of their defense, but they're missing their key defensive player, which is Von Miller. They still have Bradley Chubb, who had an amazing game last night. But I expect the New England Patriots to bounce back soon.
Aiden, the Baltimore Ravens hand the Philadelphia Eagles a loss as the Ravens win by 2 points, 30-28. Aiden, what's the situation in Philadelphia? What did they need to fix?
Lord Jesus, where do I start? One, got to give Jalen Hurts a couple more starts just to see what he can do, just to see if he can ignite a fire under Carson Wentz, because obviously something's not working. They pulled Carson Wentz out, They pulled Carson Wentz out for a little while. Jalen Hurts basically didn't do anything. I think Jalen Hurts needs at least a quarter of start time, at least a quarter, just to give Carson Wentz a scare. I want Carson Wentz to be so scared that he turns into 2017 Carson Wentz, right? Before the injuries, where he was MVP Carson Wentz. I need that Carson Wentz back, and I need immediately. Obviously, they got some major defensive problems, got some offensive problems as well. They're obviously missing some key members at O-line, some key members of their receiving core. Their receiving core is horrible. Try to address in the first round. They did not get to address in the first round, however, because the Cowboys picked their guy, CeeDee Lamb, before they could get to him. I need the Philadelphia Eagles to scare Carson Wentz. Scare him straight.
Aiden, the Tennessee Titans, remain undefeated as they defeat the Houston Texans 42-36 in overtime. Aiden, is it time to consider Derrick Henry as a MVP candidate?
Heck yeah. Derrick Henry has, okay, let me put it this way. The best thing from a running back since 2019 was four 200-yard season. That's what happened in 2019. Derrick Henry has 3 already. Derrick Henry should for sure be in that conversation. He should also be a front runner for Offensive Player of the Year. I don't even consider it a conversation. I believe Derrick Henry should jump way ahead, still behind Russell Wilson, but he should jump way ahead in your MVP listings. Man is simply phenomenal. He obviously led the league in rushing last year, and I expect him to do similar to the same this year.
And the Atlanta Falcons record their first win of the year as they defeat the Minnesota Vikings 40-23. Aiden, your thoughts?
Obviously, I believe that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, either of them will be traded. Possibly both of them will be traded by the conclusion of the season. This is not a team you can save. This team is running on an interim head coach. This team's not running on any gas, any fumes. Obviously got that amazing rookie Calvin Ridley, who I love and respect and was hoping who could have a breakout 1,000-yard season. Matt Ryan is throwing a whole lot of yards. He might be able to get Calvin Ridley to that next season, but I believe Matt Ryan and Julio Jones' days are numbered in Atlanta. They're numbered, but good for them.
Aiden, the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely demolished the Cleveland Browns as the Steelers win 38-7. Aiden, I know on tomorrow's episode, quick teaser, we were talking about Baker Mayfield in his future in the Cleveland Browns uniform. Aiden, are the Cleveland Browns contenders or pretenders?
They've been pretenders since the beginning of the season, Darius. They play in the division with the Steelers and the Ravens. There's no way, and you know what, that they were going to win that division, let alone contend for a wild card spot. Pretenders.
Aiden, the Colts defeat the Cincinnati Bengals 31-27. Aiden, we all know Indianapolis Colts, Philip Rivers does not have the best season. They still have a great rookie, Jonathan Taylor. And Aiden, your thoughts?
Obviously, I'm hoping that Philip Rivers can get back to playing a better game, playing as a better player. But they got a phenomenal rookie, Jonathan Taylor, obviously producing a whole lot. They got T.Y. Hilton, who's aging. I think they need to trade. I think they need to make a big move for a receiver. But if they do not make a big move, I don't see them doing much in the future. I believe that they need to get some major help in that receiving core. They need to get some help at the cornerback position, most definitely as well. But I believe they are a somewhat of a contender. They're a wild card. They're a wild card contender is what I'm going to call it.
Aiden, Another ain't nobody care game. Lions defeat the Jaguars 34-16. There's really not anything to add here. Both teams suck. Okay, win by the Lions. Aiden. The Chicago Bears defeat the Carolina Panthers 23-16. Nick Foles as their starting quarterback. Aiden. It's a time to put some respect on the Chicago Bears name.
Hell no. Hell no. They beat the Jaguars. They don't got much nothing, truth be told. They don't got much nothing. I don't care if you beat the Jaguars, the Lions, the Vikings, Falcons at this point, or Carolina, or any other team that has seen a fair amount of losses in their days. I don't think we can put respect on Nick Foles' name, right? Because he won a Super Bowl, came in a pretty bad situation, did the Philly special, yada yada yada. Bears need to draft a quarterback. They need to draft a consistent quarterback. They need to draft a good quarterback. It's not even a problem with the coach anymore. Matt Nagy, I believe, is an amazing coach. He has obviously won coach of the year once before. I believe that he just needs a new quarterback and a new system. And they need to pay Allen Robinson. Good God, they need to pay Allen Robinson. Because if he hits the market, he's going to get paid by somebody. By somebody, most definitely.
Aiden, I'm not going to ask you the question on this one. The New York Football Giants won by the tip of their chin against the Washington Football Team. 2019, nothing really to say there, Aiden. I guess it's time to close out the show. Again, the Sports Night Evening. I am Darius Styles, and that's Aiden Musson. And everything for joining us. Everybody who's gotten to this point, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell for post notifications for every new video. Again, I'm Darius Styles, and that's Aiden Musson. And this has been a brand new episode of Sports Night 8. See you tomorrow, everybody. Till then, peace.